Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary, gender fluid, and everybody else in between, welcome to Hot Take. It's a show where I give you a hot take. And I give you 3 pieces of evidence to back up my claim. Today's hot take: the 1998 movie Almost Heroes is fantastic. Directed by Christopher Guest, it starred Matthew Perry of Friends and Chris freaking Farley, man. It was released 6 months after he died, and it was the second to last movie he ever did. And boy, I gotta tell you, it was critically and commercially panned, dude. What do you mean? Everybody says it was horrible. It has horrible ratings. Look at that. Good Lord, why? Everybody I've ever come across who said they saw this movie said it was absolutely terrible. And you know what? Wow, I didn't believe them. I just watched it, and I'm going to tell you why it's great. And without further ado, the first piece of evidence. The story is fun, man. It's about 2 explorers, Bartholomew and Leslie, as they try to beat Lewis and Clark to the Pacific Ocean. Good Lord, westward expansion. They get forced to bring a motley crew of people with them, and it's just a fun, lighthearted story that doesn't take itself too seriously. You got a bunch of goofy characters within this motley crew that doesn't even include Chris Farley, and we'll get to that, don't you worry. You got this random French guy who pretends to be he's somebody else. Then you got some random hot girl who's like the Lewis and Clark equivalent of Sacagawea. And then you got an old man with no teeth, and then you got some dumb dude who ends up losing an ear, and you're probably wondering, how does he lose an ear? You'll have to just watch the movie because, look, he just doesn't have an ear, okay? I'm just saying, I had fun watching it. Like I said, it's a lighthearted, goofy story, and it's really important that it doesn't take itself too seriously because it's not supposed to be an English essay here, man. It's supposed to be a comedy. The second piece of evidence: Matthew Perry and Chris Farley fit beautifully together. They have wonderful chemistry. Usually in a comedy duo movie, you have the straight man and the goofy man, kind of like Chris Farley and David Spade and Tommy Boy or in Black Sheep. But in this case, they're both goofy all the time, and sometimes even Chris Farley plays the straight man, which is very rare for him because he's always the goofy man. And Matthew Perry of Friends, he acts so goofy it's ridiculous, but that's why it's fun. There's a power exchange between Matthew Perry and Chris Farley often enough in the movie to keep it fresh. And regardless of all the drama that happened behind the scenes and the writing fiasco because the script got changed a bunch of times, even after Chris Farley died, Matthew Perry and Chris Farley showed up and did the best they could. And it's hilarious. Now listen, Matthew Perry fits right into Chris Farley because Chris Farley did the whole thing with Chris Rock in Beverly Hills Ninja. He did the 2 movies with David Spade, and he did this movie with Matthew Perry, and it's wonderful. And the third and final and most damning piece of evidence there is: Chris Farley is top of his game, man. He was sober on the shoots, from what I hear, allegedly. His energy is up. His reactions are fantastic. When he screams, you can really feel the energy behind it. It's great. It's not a sluggish performance like the last movie he ever did, Dirty Work. The whole scene where Chris Farley has to get the eagle egg from the nest is some of the funniest parts of the movie, and his energy is fantastic, and it really drives home the comedy of the scene. They even reenact a scene from Billy Madison. You know that scene of Billy Madison where they're learning and Chris Farley says, "That is correct," and he takes his shirt off? Well, guess what? They redo that almost in Almost Heroes. You see what I did there? Matthew Perry is trying to teach Chris Farley how to read. That's how Chris Farley was convinced to go on the trip with Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry shows Chris Farley a lowercase a, and he freaks out. It's one of his best freakouts I've ever seen him do. It's fantastic. Highly recommended you watch that scene. And lastly, physically in the movie, it looks like he's in great shape. Now, we all know Chris Farley suffered with addiction problems and he gained a lot of weight in the later half of his career. But in this movie, even though it was so close to his death, it seemed like he was really physical in this movie. He did a lot of bumps, took a lot of hits, took a lot of falls, and he's still on top of his game, and it's funny as ever. And you may be saying, boy, it's the same old stuff rehashed over and over again. Well, guess what? You don't appreciate Chris Farley because Chris Farley is just the best. Almost Heroes is a fantastic movie, and you shouldn't look too deep into it. Just watch it and enjoy it. I'm Joey C, and that was my hot take. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody. I greatly appreciate it. Keep your eye out for the next video, episode, movie, live stream, whatever it is. Cherish the precious moments, be love, and stay, dude. See you later. Anybody else sweating here? Because by God, I gotta get out of here. I need some water. You have any water, sir? Sir?